Budget Day. There are many things to celebrate in this year's budget, including a small down payment of $100 million to fix California's broken water conveyance system. But I want to warn you as well, today's celebration could be tomorrow's sorrows. Unfolding before our eyes is one of the greatest threats to mankind, a changing climate with extreme weather and heat events that are threatening our water and our food supply. The United States has 21 water resource regions and 204 subregions that 331 million people rely on for water. They use this water for everything from the production of food to flushing toilets in their homes. It's estimated that each American uses about 8 to 100 gallons of water daily. And the nation's estimated total tops 345 billion gallons a day. And according to the National Geographic, that's enough water to put the state of Rhode Island under a foot of water. Climate change and population growth are expected to create additional water shortages. Water shortages in the next 50 years are expected in 96 of the 204 national subregions. The harsh reality of 2021 is that 83 subregions have water shortages, which translates to 40 out of 50 states, with the western states being hit the hardest. The Central Valley is already experiencing the pain of water shortages. As we all know, water issues are also food issues. We like to say in the Valley, where food grows, where water flows. And we cannot afford to be unprepared like we were with the COVID-19 pandemic. We must be thoughtful and balanced in our approach, because famine is not just a reality in some faraway land. It could be a reality here, and soon, if we don't get serious about our water shortages. California can get serious by investing in full funding of Senate Bill 559, the State Water Resiliency Act of 2021. It's an urgent first step to improve water efficiency and ensure that water remains flowing across our state into our homes and our farms. Our most vulnerable depend on it, not just for consumption, but for their livelihoods. Don't just take my word for it. Today, you will hear firsthand from Californians who are already experiencing water shortages in communities like Tiviston, which is a small system that draws from a groundwater basin that the Frank Kern Canal feeds. Before I hand the mic to Frank Galaviz of Tiviston, I want to express my frustration, and I want to ask everyone out in the public, does this budget invest in our agricultural and vulnerable communities in an equitable manner? Or is it just based on old rhetoric? I don't believe that the budget investments in our vulnerable and agricultural communities when it comes to water are there, but I will let others be the judge of our actions. And here we have Frank Galaviz of Tiviston.
Good morning. My name is Frank Galaviz. I'm a resident and a director of the Townsend Community Service District. We are located between Pixley and Earlymart. For those of you that are not familiar with those names, we are located between Fresno and Bakersfield. We are a special district of around 700 people, primarily farm workers. We rely on our own public wells funded by the state. On June 9th, well number 3, our only functioning well failed, leaving the community without running water. It is frustrating and depressing to not be able to have running water to bathe the children, take a shower, wash clothes, wash dishes, wash your hands, and having to flush the toilet with a bucket of water. And we pray that there are no house fires happened during this time in our community. Our water systems operator, immediately upon hearing that our well had failed, contacted local and state agencies to start the process to bring in bottled water for our residents and contracting water tanker trucks to fill our 2 water storage tanks. In this past week, we have installed 2 more water storage tanks, and a pump has been placed in an old well. It is the hope that this pump will add enough water pressure to get water to every home in the community. It will take a few more days to get this water into the system, and even then, the pump will have low production. We have advised the community that we must continue to conserve water for safety and health uses. The COVID virus is real. The drought is real. We are currently waiting for parts to repair the pump for well number 3. It may take another week or 2. We have been through this trauma before. When well number 1 failed in 2007, that well was constructed in 1959. Well number 2 failed around 2014. That well was constructed in 1978. Now well number 3 has failed. This well was constructed in 2017. Townsend Community Service District is nearing the end of developing plans to build a new well, well number 4, and will soon be seeking state funding for construction. This process is being accelerated considering the community's severe water issue. In 2014, the Townsend Community Service District issued a moratorium on new water connections and marijuana cultivation due to the drought that our community has been experiencing for many years. It is not normal in this day and age to have families without running water. It is not normal to not be able to bathe your children. It is not normal to not be able to wash your clothes. It is not normal to not be able to flush your toilets. It is not normal to not be able to shower. It is not normal to not be able to walk up to your sink and wash your hands and face. It is not normal to live in fear of house fires without enough water pressure to put the fire out. For too long, we have let funding of additional dams be passed over. I'm a small business owner and provide a service to the public. I travel through Tulare and Kern County. I see mountains of earth being moved to make way for our new rail system. Yes, we need progress, but we also need to refocus our priorities and look at what the drought is causing in our states to our families. The drought is real and will affect some of you listening today, tomorrow. We have a word in Spanish, mañana, meaning tomorrow. We need to address this water crisis today, not mañana. I strongly recommend that you read Senate Bill 559 and support it. I want to thank Senator Melissa Hurtado and her staff for their continued proactive efforts to address the drought and its ramifications. She gives us hope for the future. My wife and I are in our late 70s and have been married for 60 years. We have lived through many challenges. We both have survived cancer, but we will not be able to survive without water. Thank you.
And up next, we have Supervisor Townsend from the County of Tulare.
Good morning. Supervisor Dennis Townsend from Tulare County's 5th District. And as you see that Frank just spoke eloquently, and his emotions spoke even more eloquently about the issues that we're having. And when Senator Hurtado put out Senate Bill 559, I heard about it, went to the original press conference, stood on the banks of the Frank Kern Canal, shoulder to shoulder, maybe shoulder to forehead with Senator Hurtado, but shoulder to shoulder with a lot of the people that are up here today. And one of the things that impressed me as a first-term county supervisor was the bipartisan support for this bill. It was bipartisan, it was bicameral, it was multi-agency support. There were so many people there arm in arm and saying this is what we need, and thank you, Senator Hurtado, and all the co-sponsors for putting it out. So whenever the bill went into 2 years and had some of the funding taken away, we were obviously disappointed. But I'm really proud of Senator Hurtado and the others who've stuck by this to keep pushing for this to happen. As she announced earlier, we're down to about $100 million for our area, but that will be a big help. It's still a key, along with the federal funding that's coming down, along with the local funding that's happening with the private enterprises. We still need this piece to get it over the finish line. And so that's why we drove up, my wife and I drove up just to stand here for this couple of minutes, just to throw our support behind this bill and behind other bills that would not only provide drinking water, but provide water for agriculture. And I know that sometimes the middle of the state is a little overlooked because the population is lower than, of course, the northern and southern ends of the state. But what I want to say is that $100 million that will go towards this probably $600 million fix, that $100 million is not just going to stay in Tulare County. It's going to get that water flowing along with the allocations that we need, get that water flowing through so that these communities can use it for drinking water, but also for agriculture. And the agriculture in the central San Joaquin Valley is not just for the central San Joaquin Valley. It's not just a backyard garden. The agriculture, the food that grows there supplies food for our counties, obviously, the central part of California, obviously, but also the whole state, the whole western United States, all of the United States, and in fact, the world through our exports. And so this $100 million investment in water conveyance system will be a benefit to literally everyone within earshot of this press conference. And so because of that, the Tulare County Board of Supervisors resolved to be fully behind this. And we did that 100%. It was a unanimous vote, 100% of us, and we're a varied group. But we said we are behind this 100%. In the form that it's in the form that it was in before, in the form that it's in now. We really want to see this get across the finish line. So thank you again to Senator Hurtado and all of the co-sponsors of this legislation. Thank you.
So up next, we have Alex Beering from the Frank Kern Water Authority.
Thank you, Senator Hurtado. Good morning. As the Senator said, my name is Alex Beering and I work for Friant Water Authority. We're one of the sponsors of this legislation and one of the members of the coalition supporting the effort. Friant Water Authority operates and maintains the Frank-Kern Canal, which delivers water to more than 1 million acres of farmland in the San Joaquin Valley and hundreds of thousands of Californians. The canal was designed and built not just for delivering water to farms and cities, but to deliver water for groundwater recharge. The dozens of groundwater basins it supports are also the sole source of groundwater for more than 50 rural or disadvantaged communities, many of whom already lack clean drinking water. But the canal's bottom third has lost more than 60% of its capacity. This means that in wet years, we can't use it to bank water for dry years like this one, and groundwater quality worsens. Other canals that are mentioned in SB 559 face similar problems. If the San Joaquin Valley has any chance to meet California's clean drinking water goals, SB 559 and the funding others have proposed must be successful. If the San Joaquin Valley has any chance to achieve California's sustainable groundwater requirements under climate change while still minimizing the pain to valley communities, these canals must be repaired. If implemented, the projects in SB 559 would collectively create almost 13,000 new direct jobs and more than 20,000 indirect jobs in the San Joaquin Valley over a 10-year period. And they would preserve thousands more that would otherwise be lost as land is fallowed because available water supplies can't be delivered. Friant Water Authority has already secured more than $400 million in federal and local funding for the Frank-Kern Canal's repairs. It's time for California to join this partnership. We're very grateful to Senator Hurtado and her colleagues in the Senate and Assembly, as well as the governor, for recognizing the opportunity we have this year to fund conveyance improvements and for supporting that important work. Thank you.
Up next, we have Catherine Viatella from the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Hurtado. My name is Kathy Viatella, and I'm with the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, and I am pleased this morning to be part of this coalition in support of SB 559. There's a significant need to create a program that can support canal repairs in both the State Water Project and the Central Valley Project, and that is what SB 559 does. And we thank Senator Hurtado for her leadership on this issue. We also want to thank the legislature and the governor for this initial $100 million for conveyance repairs in this year's budget. It is an initial down payment, and we have and need more funding to support that. We need to make sure that we aren't wasting what water we can get now by investing in aging infrastructure that has been overworked for years. The California Aqueduct, which is part of the State Water Project, has lost 33% of its design capacity due to subsidence. We need to restore the capacity of both projects, and failure to do so means water users are going to experience rising operational and power costs and more delivery outages. Southern California gets about 30% of its water from the State Water Project, and deliveries of high-quality Northern Sierra water provides a necessary foundation for local supply projects, including recycling programs and replenishment of groundwater basins. This water supports businesses and 19 million Southern California residents, including many who reside in disadvantaged communities. We have kept water affordable by investing in our water infrastructure. We need to maintain this affordability and ensure when water is available, it can be moved without disruption. SB 559 will do this, and working together and sharing the cost is the only way we are going to ensure a reliable and climate resilient water supply for future generations. Thank you very much.
Up next, we have Ken and Michael from the San Luis Delta Mendota Water Authority.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today, and I greatly appreciate the leadership of Senator Hurtado, Senator Caballero, and the other legislators who are willing to acknowledge that we need to make investments in our California water infrastructure. I think in some ways we've lost sight over the years of how important this water infrastructure is, and my hope is that SB 559 will be the start to other investments that can be made to improve and enhance the infrastructure that we have. And it's important to remember that the infrastructure supports this great state, and it can't be the state that it is without it. We wouldn't be here in Sacramento talking without the flood protection benefits that we get from our infrastructure, the water supply benefits to communities, to the environment, as well as to agriculture. So any investment in infrastructure is going to be helpful. This is hopefully just a start. As Frank mentioned in his speech, I think we've shown that we're willing to make investments in transportation, updated technology, and I think we need to continue to update our water infrastructure as well. It's been overlooked for far too long, and it's a critical component. Every drop of water that is released from our infrastructure goes to benefit not just agriculture, but communities as well as environmental uses, as we see this year with some of our capacity being held back in reserve to make sure that there's cold water for certain species of fish later in the year. Again, thankful again to be here. I would say from a farming perspective, I'm a sixth-generation farmer. My family's been in the valley for a long time. I would say that all of us, no matter what our passions are fueled by farmers every single day, and I hope that we continue to support California agriculture because we're some of the most highly regulated farmers in the world and produce some of the most diverse crops anywhere. So again, water is important. We all use it every day. We all benefit from it. These investments are critical, and I look forward to this just being the start. Thank you.
And my apologies, I missed Tom Birmingham from the Westlands Water District. Sorry about that.
I'm always happy to follow Cannon. If we learn nothing else from the existing drought, one lesson should be clear. We must manage the water's resources more effectively. When water is abundant, as it was in 2017, 2018, and 2019, we must be prepared to capture and conserve water for inevitable dry periods like 2020 and 2021. This will require investments by and a partnership among the federal, the state, and local governments. Climate change only exacerbates the need for these investments and makes them more urgent. SB 559 will fund a share of the cost to implement critical repairs to restore the conveyance capacity of the Delta-Mendota Canal, the San Luis Canal, the Bryant-Kern Canal, and the California Aqueduct. SB 559 will help maintain affordable, clean drinking water for more than 31 million people. And if I may deviate from my prepared remarks, if nothing else is clear, this is not an environmental issue. This is not a water supply issue. This is a people issue. And SB 559 will help protect existing jobs and create new jobs during the construction of the repairs funded in part by SB 559. SB 559 will help support critical habitat and ecosystem restoration efforts already underway and supply irrigation water to 3.25 million acres of farmland that literally feed the nation. Westlands Water District appreciates and enthusiastically supports the efforts of Senators Hurtado and Caballero, Assembly Members Mathis, Patterson, Salas, Viatella, and Arambula, and other members of the legislature to enact SB 559.
Up next, we have Dusty Ferentz of the Kings County Farm Bureau.
Good morning. I'm Dusty Ferentz with the Kings County Farm Bureau, and I'm here today to show our support of Senate Bill 559. Excuse me. Providing funding to support California's infrastructure is paramount to improving the quality of life for all Californians. Senate Bill 559 and the governor's commitment is the jumpstart our state needs to repair its aging surface water delivery infrastructure. Whether you're one of the more than 20 million people living in the Los Angeles area, a farmer in the Central Valley, or a resident of the small community of Kettleman City, we should all agree that maintaining the ability to deliver surface water in California is our top priority. Water deliveries from the Central Valley Project in Kings County are relatively small compared to many counties along the canal's 144 miles, but the impacts are crucial. In addition to the water used on farms, water is delivered to Naval Air Station Lemoore, the Navy's master jet base for the West Coast, which services approximately 8,000 enlisted servicemen and women and their families. It also delivers water to Kettleman City, with a population of just over 1,100. Kettleman City receives 900 acre-feet of water a year if conditions are right, but without a minimum 30% allocation, the city does not benefit from its surface water contract and struggles to provide drinkable water to its residents. And recently, the city of Corcoran in Kings County made national news and was featured in the New York Times because of subsidence. While it's known as a subsidence hotspot, subsidence is not a localized issue. Sinking sections of canals are found along their entirety, causing water deliveries to decrease downstream. And without the ability to fix the entire channel, surface water deliveries won't return to capacity and subsidence cannot be addressed anywhere. In California, we talk about being prepared for the next drought. It's time to stop talking and put a preparedness plan in motion. No more discussions over urban versus agricultural water, and time to focus on the human condition and quality of life that water provides. We all rely on water. It gives life and leisure. It employs people across the state and feeds our great nation and the world. We thank Senator Hurtado for her leadership on the issue and for focusing on real problems affecting her constituents and all Californians.
Thank you, Dusty. I want to briefly just turn the mic over to my colleagues here in the legislature that, look, the reality is I couldn't do this work alone. I didn't do it alone. It took an entire community to come together to move the $100 million forward, to move SB 559 forward. And over the last almost 3 years, I've had good partners in crime in trying to make sure that we get water funding for the Valley. And the next speaker is Senator Caballero, a champion for the Valley and a champion for water.
Thank you very much, Senator Hurtado, for your incredible leadership for the Valley residents and for your nice statement here today. Let me just say that first of all, let me thank everybody for being here today. This is really important, and for people to be able to get together and make this statement here on the steps of the Capitol is really, really important. So thank you very much for traveling and being a part of this this important press conference. Let me just say that Senator Hurtado has been absolutely focused on this issue since she first got to the Senate. And I want to applaud her incredible work and her leadership in continuing to persist, continuing to have this conversation about a water facility that is absolutely critical, as you've heard, to the entire state of California. Yes, it's located in her district, but it provides the mechanism for us to move water. And if you can't move water, you're in big trouble in this state. We have been moving water for eons, well, almost, but it's the infrastructure that allows us to be able to provide water to 2/3 of the state of California. And so without that conveyance system, people don't get water. And you know how important it is to your life and to your family and to your community. All you have to do is drive around and see all the green around here, and you know that water is critically important. And so the state of California has placed a significant amount of effort and resources into building back stronger. But that has to include repairing and restoring aging infrastructure to our state water systems. As you've heard, SB 559 is critically important to the Canal Conveyance Restoration Fund. It's to repair the Aqueduct, the Delta Mendota, San Luis Canal, and the Bryant-Kern Canal. And why is this so critical? Because 31 million Californians depend on water that flows through these systems. Many of them live in disadvantaged communities. These families depend on water. You've heard that here today. To flush their toilets, to bathe their children, to cook, to clean. Every part of our life involves using water. And in 2021, and in the greatest state in the nation, families deserve to have clean, safe drinking water when they turn on their taps. They shouldn't have to worry about whether that water is potable or whether there's any water at all coming out of their system. We know that we are headed into a severe drought, and we have no idea how long it will last. I want to say that again, because we have no idea how long it will last. So we need the infrastructure in place, we need the commitment, and we need to do it as a team. You will hear many people say, and I know that Senator Hurtado has heard that this is a federal program. The federal government should stand up and pay for it. Well, guess what, folks? It's in the state of California, and in the state of California, we do things in partnership. We don't say it's something that someone else should fix when it's in a crisis. We say, let's roll up our sleeves, let's get this done. So the ability to move significant amounts of water is vital, and we need to act quickly. It is with a partnership with the federal government, our local water agencies, and the great state of California that will ensure that we can get this done. So thank you very much for all joining us here today. Very happy to support SB 559 and to insist that we continue to include it in our budget as we move forward. Thank you very much, Melissa.
– Thank you, Senator Caballero. Up next, we have Assemblymember Mathis. Is he here? No? Okay. Assemblymember Patterson. You're right here, right behind me. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about it for a minute. We are the inheritors of a magnificent system of hydrology in California. It saves, it stores, and it moves water to where it is needed. But sadly, our storage and conveyance systems have not been modernized nor maintained as they should. The systems we have, both the state and the federal, in its reservoirs, collects the rainfall, the snow, and the runoff. It stores it during wet years, hopefully to have it available in dry years. And then it moves it from where it is to where it needs to be. But as has been stated here, the maintenance of that conveyance system has been woefully underfunded. And I am glad to join with Senator Hurtado and others in SB 559. It does make a significant partnership commitment to repairing these canals, because these canals convey the water needed for people and for food. It is that serious. Time is running out. The clock is ticking. We must act now. Thank you.
And up next, we have Assemblymember Salas.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Assemblymember Salas. I represent the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley, everywhere from Avenal down to the Grapevine. Let me just first begin by thanking Senator Hurtado and really the coalition behind us for bringing not only SB 559, but making sure that we're consistently talking about water and fixing California's pipes. We need to fix California's water pipes, folks. And during this time of historic investments in the state of California and across the country, now's the time to do this. SB 559 gives us the blueprint to fix California's water pipes, right? We know that the state of California, the population's grown to 40 million people. We know that the infrastructure has not grown with the growth of California. Now is the time to invest. We need to invest so that families throughout the state of California, families that Frank talked about, that are struggling to have safe drinking water coming out of their taps, families that are struggling to even flush the toilet or take a shower, that we make sure that not only that we see them, but that we address their issues and we fix these water pipes, and SB 559 gets us there, right? It helps us move water throughout the entire state. It lets us move water from the north to the south, but east to west. That's what this is about. This is about livelihoods. This is about people. This is about doing something for the future of California. You know, Senator Hurtado had talked about where water flows, food grows. And that's so true, and you see that in the Central Valley. But when you're talking about not only the health of individuals and people, but if you want to talk about the health of California and California's economy, you need to talk about and address water infrastructure. When you're talking about the health and food of the country and of the world, you need to talk about water infrastructure here in the Central Valley. That's why I'm happy to be a joint author on SB 559, and I appreciate everyone being here today. Together, we're going to make something happen. So appreciate you, and thank you.
And our final speaker is Assembly Member Villa Padua.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. I want to start by thanking Senator Hurtado for bringing this attention to a key solution of our drought preparations around the state. As a world leader in agricultural and food production, this threats our water supply, but puts the economy overall well-being to the Central Valley as a particular risk. But these investments for water convenience projects around the state play a critical role for our drought, realign, sustain our water supply to long term. We know that we invest in water convenience projects, access to clean water across the state, while supporting our water supply to utilizing our efforts. These efforts have become the necessary component on how we can prepare for our future and need to be part of a long-term solution. Waiting on these investments is no longer an option for us if we want to continue to provide food for our families around the world. So I want to thank Senator Hurtado for bringing these ideas and solutions, and we need to move forward. We need to get things done. So thank you, Senator, for all your hard work.
You know, once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and for all those that drove long distances to get here to really tell Californians and tell the world about the struggles that we're facing here in the Central Valley and the state of California with this drought, but really what we're expecting to be part of the future for the rest of our lives and the lives of our next generations. And appreciate everyone that shared their stories today, and we'll open it up for questions and answers at this point, if anyone has any. No questions? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.